Good evening, televiewers, and welcome to yet another exciting edition on our program Mountain Echoes. Today, Monday, today we shall be looking at this topic, General Appraiser and Impression of the 48th Annual Seminar of the Bishops of Cameroon. An event which marked, it was kind of a historical event in the Diocese of Boya. It left a kind of a mark. No, I will not call it an indelible mark like that of confirmation and baptism, but it was a very strong mark in the Diocese of Boya, and many persons out there in Cameroon and out of Cameroon were opportune to follow this conference, this seminar of the bishops in Boya precisely, over the TV, over maybe you could get that on Facebook, on our page on Facebook, direct from DMRU TV in the Diocese of Boya, all thanks to His Lordship Bishop Michael Bibi, who is the number one proprietor and number one player of that TV. We want to say immense thanks and gratitude to him for that. We shall be looking at it briefly. We got some friends on board who came to share their own views, like I said, appraiser and impression about this 48th seminar of the bishop, annual seminar of the bishops of Cameroon, which just ended. It was a come and see activity or event. If you're not there, that means you've missed. After how many years that Boya Diocese hosted the bishops in Cameroon, this time around it was something that we needed to be there. Either, maybe from the beginning to the end, to come and see. So thank you very much for being by your TV. All our friends and friends of Mountain Echoes in particular, those in Ikok, those in Iyumujok, those in Bafia, those in Munyenge, and the western region of Cameroon, of course, and those in the United States. Remember our friends in Alabama, Birmingham, and those in Georgia, Atlanta, Father Valerie and co. We are on board today to give kind of appraiser and impression of that 48th annual seminar of the bishops of Cameroon. We have Father Terry on board. Father, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Father. It is always a pleasure to be here with you.
Can you just tell the viewers a little about yourself? I'm sure for some time you've not been here. Father Terry is this, and you could just tell them a little about yourself.
So I am parochial vicar at Immaculate Conception Parish with support, and I am also campus minister at Catholic University Institute of Boya. So these two capacities hold me like gravity on the ground, and they engage me every day. I have other super-parochial activities, super-parochial functions, including being a chaplain to choristers in the diocese, and yes, basically.
Yeah, and the choristers had a lot to do as far as that seminar or the conference of the bishops concerned.
Definitely.
Yeah, so you're going to tell the viewers in the course of our praises and impression what is it that they participated well, they sang well, or the songs that was that they took during this during the seminar, especially maybe the opening mass and the ended mass of the bishops conference. How was it? And you're going to tell the viewers more about that. On my left, we have Mr. Bo Ivo. He's going to tell us a little about himself, and he has come on board today to give a kind of a praise and impression also of the 48th annual seminar of bishops of Cameroon. Someone just asked Mr. Bo that are we not going to talk about kind of a praise or an impression of the just ended 60th anniversary of Bishop Oga Minor Seminary. I said we will come to that, but today we'll have some other thing. So yeah, so maybe just introduce yourself to the viewers and the friends of Mountain Echoes.
I am Robo. I'm a former in the Bishop Oga Minor Seminary. I teach history and citizenship there. For a while now, I've been teaching also religious studies in various institutions. Very, very interested in spiritual activities in the diocese and in general. I think that it would be very necessary. It is very necessary for us to talk about the just ended 48th Conference of the Bishops of Cameroon. For a long time, I cannot remember when we last hosted.
Yes, that's from 46 years ago.
Yeah, so if it's 46 and we have something great of our mind that we have 26 dioceses, I don't know, in Cameroon, and then 46 years ago, then it is that I give a special. Sometimes I reflected and I got Father Thierry, and when they asked the Bishop of Boya, Bishop Michael Bibi, "Are you sure Boya is safe?" He said, "Yes, come." I'm sure.
Yes, thank you very much. That was a
And they have
technical
come
question.
and gone.
Yes.
And we are actually insane.
Yeah, like the motto of Whipper call that you should come and see.
Yes.
Come and see, and they came and they saw.
They saw.
I'm sure that's one of the reasons also that Mr. Xavier and Tony Burt brought up this in mind, that it was nice that we gave a kind of appraisal and impression about it.
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah, because he's the main breaker of this topic of today's program.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know,
So you just tell the viewers about yourself, and then just we'll continue from there.
Yes, thank you, Father. My name is Xavier. I am working in shipping and mail. I'm currently taking a break from my studies, but I plan next year to go to university in Rome to study philosophy and become a Dominican friar.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. So you're welcome. You said Xavier?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Xavier and Tony Bird.
Xavier Anthony Burt.
Okay, so can we say it's a kind of a ZAB?
Yes. my parents specifically named me that, so my initials would be XAB.
Yeah. So you see, maybe inspired by the Holy Spirit. I think so. So generally, what do you think? Why did you come? Why did you have maybe? Where did these inspirations? Where did it come? Where did you come from?
Yeah, so I live back in America.
Yeah.
I am a friend of Father James,
Yeah.
so his sister goes to the parish that I attend.
Yeah.
And so we just became friends since I alto serve at my parish. And I just thought, you know what? I should give him a visit.
Yeah.
And it's been a really good experience.
Wow. You know, coming when the bishops of Cameroon, you know, coming together after a very long times, over decades, you know, and maybe in Europe they do have that, but I'm sure maybe was it your first time, you know, or time to see bishops coming together like that? Bishop of maybe a country.
I went to the National Eucharistic Congress in America.
It was
That
wonderful.
was wonderful. So I saw all the bishops there, but this was probably the first time I got to mingle with so many bishops.
Oh, okay, because I followed that up over EWTN. We put the things together. We edited the program of this National Congress of all the bishops. We did that because EWTN did the broadcast of all those kind of stuff. I was around, but I didn't go there. I was in the studio.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know when my friend and brother who works here, Otto Joseph, he called me that Xavier would like to come up on TV. You know, I said, why my program? He said, no, Father, that is the program that he has chosen. I said, okay. Wow, since Xavier said he prefers Mountain Echoes, and then it's okay with me. Yeah. As what is Xavier saying? What does he want to come and tell the people? You know, my friends and the fans of Mountain Echoes, because it's not news to us that Mountain Echoes and the others, you know, on the maybe kind of programs, not as if we're proud about Mountain Echoes, but you know, we are up to date by God's grace. We're trying our best. So I was asking, he said, no, he just want to come on TV and has one or two things. And I insisted, I said, okay, because I put my programs, I start putting my things together on Friday, Saturday, then Sunday finally to do the flyer and the rest, so much that I'm not stuck. You know, it's a bit difficult, you know, getting persons to come on board, every day different persons. Though we have some kind of backups like Mr. Bo Ivo for the Cherry. So, what inspired you to start thinking about coming to give a kind of appraiser and impression about the 48 seminar? What came over you before before coming with this kind of topic?
Yeah, so at where I'm staying, I see DMR TV all the time.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know, it would be nice to go on that. And so I just asked about it, and here I am.
Okay, thank you very much, Xavier, for bringing these on board. So we go directly. We begin with Father Cherry. What was your overall impression of the 48th annual seminar of the bishops of Cameroon's bishop? We just ended.
I very much appreciate the fact that they chose to host their seminar here in Buea.
Yeah.
Particularly, my appraisal comes from the point of view of the Christians who see these events happening in their diocese.
Yeah.
You know, there's a tendency sometimes to being individualistic in the way we go about things, the way we go about the church and stuff. So I think that when they see a thing like this happening in diocese, they begin to see that they are parts of a larger whole. They are parts of a greater effort toward making people holy. The church is not only Catholic here in Buea, it's Catholic also in St. Melima, it's Catholic also in the north, it's Catholic everywhere. And the bishop who is here is engaged in this effort to see that the church works well here, as well as other bishops in the other places who are engaged in the same effort. And so all of them coming together tells us that the church is truly Catholic and holy and apostolic, and so I think that the Christians who were seeing this happening, they have this sense of church. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. We go to then Mr. Bo. How will you describe the atmosphere? You were just talking of, come and see. How will you describe the atmosphere and the sense of unity during the seminar, despite the crisis that has been plaguing the Southwest and Northwest region since 2016?
It will not be a hyperbole for saying that it was almost equated to Christ's entry into Jerusalem. You know, I got a CWA which I will keep on to praise and thank them, the CMA, and a good number of Christians. And then sometimes I said, our bishop is God chosen.
Yeah.
At the midst of the crisis, at the midst of several challenges, he had many things to put in together. You know, hosting those number of bishops for the first time in an early stage of ministry, providing accommodation, and many other things, challenges that are there, and he said, yes, come. Then I'm able to see that I get from the visit when each bishops will come in and all the other, the entourage and the rest, the embrace, that warm embrace, and then the reception from the day one.
Yeah.
I saw that aspect of solemnity, that aspect of love, that aspect of solidarity. You know, it was so that everybody who stepped his foot or her feet in the Boya diocese felt at home.
Yeah.
Felt at home. So with the Advent, Father, you realize that it was recently the over 2 point something billion co-cathedral. It is not a child's play. That within a short time, the bishop was able to accomplish this. And then the Bishop Pius Hour Memorial Center, it was also another big challenge to take and make sure that it was very much okay to be able to get to know that okay, every participant that came, they were sure to have at least to be accommodated, and many other challenges. So within that, I really see many stakeholders involved, and further it raised. If this is the first time, if we talk about 46 years, it's not 46 days.
Yeah.
It's a
For
lifetime.
Catholic Christians in Boya
It's a lifetime.
Actually, I used to hear about the Episcopal Conference. Now we have Archbishop Andrew Kea, who is the president. Yeah, the elections from Kelda and others that have been. But I never thought that I could witness it. At least, like the blind people said, we wish to see Jesus. The people of Boya Diocese, they had seen and they saw the reality. And many other things, it goes along to boast the faith,
Yeah.
the faith of the Christians, for all the bishops to come, sit together in a diocese, move along, have the experiences along. We feel them, not only a particular bishop, and then those of the ecclesiastical province, and those of Cameroon. It was a big ceremony, Father.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Bo. And Xavier, what do you have to say about your impression of the 48th seminar, seminar for Cameroon's bishop? How was it for you?
Yeah, so I saw the unity twofold.
Yeah.
I saw the unity of the people of Cameroon and the unity of Catholics altogether. So just all the bishops being together, so many Cameroonians being together, I just saw the unity of the Catholic Church in Cameroon.
Yeah.
And then also just the fact that I can come as an American, understand what's going on in the Mass, even if it's said partially in a different language, even if it's with a different culture. The Catholicity of our faith, the universality of our faith, still allows me to participate in the Christian culture here.
So, for what new thing did you see there? That really caught your attention.
there was many new things.
Yeah.
One of the most notable things was they brought up a goat during the dedication of the co-cathedral. If that happened in America, people would be going crazy.
Okay, that's it. We'll be coming back to that. We just have Jesse. Can you just maybe get with the others who never had the opportunity? We begin with day one, the arrival, and let's see what happened as far as the 48th seminar, annual seminar of the bishops of Cameroon, which just took place, just ended in the Diocese of Boya. Over to you, Jesse. Thank you.
With hearts full of joy and radiant spirits, Christians of the Diocese of Boya converge on the explanade of the Bishop Pius Hour Memorial Pastoral Center to welcome the bishops of Cameroon for the 48th Annual Bishops Seminar. The joyful atmosphere, which had several cultural dance displays, sets the pace for a successful and spirit-filled gathering. The warmth and hospitality by the local community and the bishops themselves were a testament to the strength and unity that exists in the church. The Secretary General of the National Episcopal Conference, Monsignor Paul Nyaga, highlights the activities of the week-long seminar of the bishops of Cameroon in the Diocese of Boya.
In the evening, we have the solemn vespers, to begin the week. We begin the week with prayer. And then tomorrow, as you know, we have a very, very big event, because it will be the opening mass of the annual seminar of the bishops. But at the same time, we saw something wonderful as we're coming here. That something wonderful is nothing else but the co-cathedral.
The local ordinary of the Diocese of Boya, His Lordship Michael Bibi, played host to the seminar, ensured that the bishops felt at home as they arrived at the Bishop Pius Hour Memorial Pastoral Center. Reverend Father Raj comments on the atmosphere at the arrival of the bishops of Cameroon at the Bishop Pius Hour Memorial Pastoral Center.
Particularly on this day, I see so many different varieties of songs, dances, welcoming the bishops of Cameroon. It is a special blessing. It is a year of gratitude for all that God has done to us. And also 2025 is a special Jubilee year of grace.
Holding on the theme synodality, the arrival of the bishops of Cameroon at the Bishop Pius Hour Memorial Pastoral Center, Boya, for the 48th Annual Bishops Seminar marked the beginning of a significant ecclesiastical gathering.
Yeah, thank you, JC. So we could this will bring us to this next question. Over to you, Mr. Bo. So, just looking at the excerpt there, how will you describe the atmosphere and the sense of unity during the seminar? After watching that.
I underline this statement further that the bishops felt at home.
Yeah.
Xavier mentioned here the universality of the Catholic Church, the unity of the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Wherever you are in the world, the Catholic Church is one. And wherever you were, whether you are in America, you are in Germany, you are in Japan, you are in Cameroon, and you get into the Catholic Church, you feel at home. We are all one family. Yes. That is one big great difference we find there. Look at the warmth, embrace, which the bishop had. And then that hilarious, the celebrations, beating of drums, the traditional African society, when you hit the drums and dance. It is a sign of, it's a great ceremony, a ceremony of exuberance. Thank you, dear Father. Exuberance. So I feel that the traditional African society expressing joy of something great. That's why I almost, without exaggerating, equate it to the triumphant entry of Jesus into Jerusalem.
Yeah, thank you very much. Xavier, do you have something to say after watching the video? I'm sure maybe you also get the copy of the stuff you take back. And you see a multitude of people. It's like the kind of activity that Jesus used to have, where maybe you find himself on the hill and everybody's on the field sitting, sharing the little thing that they have, 2 loaves of bread and 5 fish. Everybody, irrespective of your color, your nation, your tribe, and the rest. You could see the bishops interacting with, the Christians and so on and so forth. So what do you have after watching the video? What do you think about it?
Yes, so I was able to actually be able to eat with the bishops. I didn't sit down at the table of bishops themselves, but I was able to just see the bishops mingling with each other, and there didn't seem to be any source of division. There just seemed to be like unity.
Yeah.
And so it's just beautiful to see brother bishops being with each other. Brother shepherds.
That's awesome, Xavier. And then for the theory, in what ways did the seminar reflect the current needs and challenges of the church in Cameroon? Just maybe reflecting on that.
I think that the communique that was sent out shows the solicitude of the bishops to the plight of the people. I think that the document is structured in three main parts. The very first part is talks about the power of hope. The second one talks about hoping against all hope. The third one talks about the way forward, like practical points to take note of, or like an assignment, homework to do. So I think their communique shows that they understand the plight of the people and that they stand with the people with regard to answering the call for human dignity. I remember in 2022, Bishop Sosten Bayemi said, "L'Église ne peut être insensible à ce qui fait mal à l'homme," which means the church cannot be insensitive to the plight of man. Be you Catholic or Protestant or Muslim or one who has no religious affiliation whatsoever. The church cannot be insensitive to what makes man sad. So when you look at the document, the document quotes extensively from Social Doctrine of the Church, Gaudium et Spes, and all of those documents to show that the church stands with humanity to answer for what makes humanity happy. I saw also a video of Father Lado, the Jesuit priest. That very poignant video in which he spoke in French and he was saying that Christians should shun. Can you hear that? Christians should shun churchmen who don't hear the cry of the poor. And he quoted Psalm 33 that when the poor man cries, the Lord listens. That how can it be that when the poor man cries, the church doesn't listen? So I think that the bishops have been able to put themselves, I would say, on the right side of history in relation to scripture, in relation to those words, in relation to the will of God, and to what the church herself stands for. That in regards to the welfare of the people, the church speaks also for them, irrespective of their religious affiliation or whatsoever. So I think the document is a beautiful testament to that.
Yeah, we'll be coming to the communique, and at this point in time, I'm sure maybe we'll take it a step after another. We take the next step, which was after the arrival, that we've given a kind of appraisal and our own impression. We think that the next thing was the inaugural mass, which the Secretary General of NEC, Monsignor Paul Nyaga, just made mention of. I think over this time around, JC could just carry us to the inaugural mass of the 48th annual seminar of the bishops, and then we have one or two things to say about that before the other one. So over to you, JC, the inaugural mass of the bishops of Cameroon in Boya, the Diocese of Boya. Thank you, JC.
The opening session marking the 48th annual seminar of the bishops of the National Episcopal Conference of Cameroon opened with a high pontifical mass celebrated by the host bishop, His Lordship Michael Bibi, Bishop of the Diocese of Boya. Over 30 princes coming from 26 dioceses within the national territory answered present. The bishops will be reflecting on the theme synodality, and to be more precise, living synodality in the context of our local church. This theme comes up as a choice of reflection by the prelates in a period when the Universal Church has been reflecting so deeply on building a synodal church with communion, participation, and mission at the forefront. This year's seminar, which is expected to span from Sunday the 4th to Saturday the 11th of January, will comprise of a variety of activities such as prayers in common among the bishops in various places such as Our Lady of Grace Shrine in Mevio Sase, together with various workshops and follow up on the caption synodality. The bishops will equally have a closed-door session just among themselves, and the prelates will equally have excursion to some strategic sites in the Diocese of Boya and a cultural evening, which will culminate the seminar with a solemn closing Holy Mass at the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral to be presided upon by His Grace José Avelino Betancourt, the Apostolic Nuncio to Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea. The inaugural Mass sets the platform ready to get the rest of these activities unfold as intended by the prelates of the Church in Cameroon. It is a moment to strengthen the affective and effective collegiality existing among the bishops working hand in glove together, as stated in Canons 336 and 337 in the Code of Canon Law. stating that the bishop, insofar as he is a member of the Episcopal College and is a legitimate successor of the apostles, together with the Roman pontiff and the other bishops, share in the solicitude for all the churches. And the College of Bishops, whose head is the Supreme Pontiff, and whose members are bishops by virtue of sacramental consecration and hierarchical communion with the head and members, exercises its power over the universal church. This working in synergy on the part of the prelates of Cameroon will definitely be for the good of the church, the citizens, and the nation at large.
Thank you very much, Jesse. That was a inaugural mass for the Cherry, and for those who never had the opportunity to be there, I'm sure some of our fans who were not opportune to be there for that inaugural mass, they at least they got the kind of maybe a bit of it, you know. That's kind of a summary of it. So, what do you have to say about that? Your kind of appraise and impression. How was it for you?
Well, to begin with, we have not seen a thing like this in like forever. I think the Co-Cathedral Church is the second church dedicated by Bishop Michael ever since he came to Buea. The very first being St. Martin the Porous Parish, Bukwango. I wasn't there at that celebration. I've seen ceremonies of dedication only on YouTube, but I think this was an opportunity also for me to be able to witness this firsthand. Seeing the crowd of people gathered shows the importance attached to the ceremony, not only because it is one of its kind, the church being a symbol of the people of God who are already the church being dedicated as a sign of the importance the people who are already the church place on the church building. And then also the happiness and the exuberance of people shows the fact that they are animated by the Spirit and are willing to lead holy lives in the house of God. I think that day was just overflowing with grace. And then also the structure of the rite proper itself. I think the rite prescribes three kinds of entrance. I think what was chosen that day was the simple entrance, in which people are already in the church and the bishop begins the rite outside the church, and that's exactly what happens. From there, the entrance proceeds with the song Louder Jerusalem, evocative of Palm Sunday when our Lord went to Jerusalem.
Moving on, they call it in the pidgin jackass. You know about the jackass?
Exactly. When our Lord entered when our Lord entered in Jerusalem,
was it a camel? Was that a camel?
No, jackass.
Is that the name?
No, camel is different.
Donkey.
Donkey. You know donkey, right?
Donkey,
Yeah. So that was the kind of
Donkey.
ambience, louder Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. It's evocative of Palm Sunday when our Lord got into Jerusalem and went to the temple and cleansed the temple. So, louder Jerusalem Domino, louder Deum tuum Sion, Praise the Lord Jerusalem, Zion, praise your God. He has strengthened the bars of the gates. He has blessed the children within you, established peace in your borders, and feeds you with finest wheat. When our Lord gets into Jerusalem and cleanses the temple, he does exactly that. He strengthens the bars of the gates of Israel. He makes Israel the place that is safe and secure, not because of its earthly kingly might, but rather because of its freedom from sin and its establishments and its establishments and its rootedness on holiness.
Yeah.
So we had that for the entrance, and then in place of the usual penitential rites, water was blessed and was sprinkled on the people to remind the people of baptism. And the mass continued as usual. And then after the homily came the rite everyone has been waiting for. It began with the Litany of the Saints. Everyone remembers the Litany of the Saints. At ordination, we hear it all the time.
Ordinations, yeah?
Yeah. So that was done. And then also the relics were symbolically placed in the altar as it should be.
Yeah.
I remember images from Notre Dame in France. The Archbishop placing the relics into the altar, and it really struck me how he did it. Like, he had to open the altar and place So that's exactly the same thing Bishop Michael did. For those who watch those images, they see that, as Xavier said, the church is Catholic. It's one everywhere. So the bishop did exactly that. And after that, there was a prayer of consecration. After which followed the anointing with chrism. That was very dramatic. We could see the bishop ferociously rubbing chrism on the table of the altar everywhere. Like, this is my altar. I will celebrate mass on this altar. I get the chance to dedicate this church. That's what I'm talking about. I could tell he felt very, very proud. Very proud doing that, and he did that with a lot of energy. Yes. So there was that. After which followed the clothing of the altar and then the lighting of the candles. Everything was just methodically planned, and I believe those who were watching were able to had a good view on because the screens
were
and
there,
everything.
So that's why you see I go back to thanks to, and then we have a TV that could help those who could not make it there.
Yes.
So you see that the TV came just at the appointed time.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Mr. Boa, there is this activity that takes place during we have the Holy Triduum. This kind of activity was something similar to that. What do you think about that? Unveiling the altar and then putting things again, and then Terry in the seminary coming in, all the lights are there, and you come out like Lumen Christi. What do you think about that? Linking the two activities.
Father, thank you very much. From what Father Thierry is explaining, that is a special moment of the church, and it is the Holy Triduum. It is the peak of Christianity, and sometimes each year, my personal experience, I see it as if I'm seeing it for the first time, and I'm very sure that many Christians feel the same. For all the churches I attend, from Boya town, where I was born, baptized, and I received my communion, to other areas where I have been able to get the same experience is different. Now, getting something actually was close to that of the Holy Triduum, like on Good Friday, where the whole church is undressed, let me use the word, and then before the other activities come up, we witnessed that, as Father Thierry explained, and it was a big drama, and not just a mere drama. It dragged the concentration of Christians. It is not a case of where the church was quiet, serene, and everybody was attentive, because everything seems to be very strange. Dedication of a cathedral is not a common thing. I think that it is my first experience. I don't think that I'm going to experience that again. I've had that. That's a unique experience. As we used to talk about the series substitution of the popes coming now, I happen to be in an era where I've been able to watch 3 popes, in a ceremony. That ceremony is solemn, and with the presence of the screens there, it facilitated. Those who will not sit to say maybe have opportunity to sit in front. But Xavier had the opportunity to sit right ahead.
Yes.
Maybe in church and other days, to sit closer to, you could see. You do not need it. Then maybe the screens were not very necessary. But those who were outside, you could see even the bishops when they were entering. Everybody, their eyes were like, "Wow, what is happening?" In the cathedral, the big screens there, you could see everything happening.
For I felt proud being a Catholic. That's the truth. I felt very proud. And up to now, I can say that with a lot of exuberance.
And we'll be coming to that. That was the inaugural Mass that we just watched. And in the course of the inaugural Mass, it's not news to us that it was dedication of the co-cathedral. And Father Terry did a kind of interview. He was interviewed, and I'm sure he explained some few things to people on what the dedication all about. But before we go to that, I'm sure JC, you could just help us on that, except showing the dedication itself. For those who are not there, our fans, I'm sure those in Mujoku could not make it, those in Bafia and those in a cock at the border there, very special friends there. You could just maybe follow us and you see what happened at that point in time. Dedication of the co-cathedral. JC, over to you.
Witnessing a moment of an increase in faith and commitment in the local church of Boya was the solemn dedication of the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral by the Bishop of Boya, His Lordship Malka Bibi, in the presence of all the bishops of Cameroon and the Christian faithful of the Diocese of Boya. The atmosphere at the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral was that of joy and fulfillment for finally beholding the realization of such a gigantic project in the life of the Christian faithful of the Diocese of Boya, which started with the laying of its foundation stone on the 25th of March 2012 by the Emeritus Bishop of Boya, His Lordship Emmanuel Boshu. Beginning the rites of this solemn dedication was the solemn procession, closely followed by the opening prayer, handing over of the cathedral keys to the bishop, and finally the opening of the door by the bishop with his crucier symbolizing his role as chief shepherd of the people of God in the Diocese of Buea. Moving over to the second part of the dedication, which came immediately after the homily, there were other several rituals such as the singing of the litany, the blessing and sprinkling of holy water to the cathedral building and the people, the insertion of the relics of St. Faustina and St. John Paul II on the altar, the anointing of the altar and the immaculate walls of the cathedral with chrism, and finally the incensing of the altar and the building. Moved by the greatness and magnificent nature of this cathedral and its dedication, the Governor of the Southwest Region, His Excellency Bernard Okalai Bilai, after the Mass expressed sentiments of joy for having the privilege of being part of this celebration.
Today, we are very, very highly honored by what the Catholic Church has done. Not only in Buea or for Buea, but in Cameroon. The co-cathedral have more than 3,000 seats. And where we are now, you can see this hall can contain more than 1,005 people seated. So it is a wonderful achievement. I want to thank, because I don't know if I have enough power to congratulate the bishop, but I want just to thank the archbishop and the bishop and the entire clergy for what they have been doing.
As the dedication of the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral marks a significant new chapter in the spiritual journey of the Christians of the Diocese of Buea, they are now confident of the hope, peace, refuge, consolation, and above all unity and the strength which comes with the dedication of the cathedral to continue to live out the mission of the gospel.
Very much at JC for that. That was the dedication of the co-cathedral and the steps. I'm sure maybe for the Thierry Xavier and Mr. Bo, we just kind of give since the kind of continuation of appraisal and impression. We begin with for the Thierry. Using the cruiser to hit the door. Whoa, how was it? Everybody was like, why is this guy doing this kind of thing? Whoa, what do you think about that?
I think it's symbolic. I think it's symbolic too, because he could as well the bishop could as well just open the door with his hands, like we all do. But this is the cross. I think it's symbolic for him to have done that. I think that in the minds of Christians too, as much as I did, why would he have to do that? I think it's symbolic. The shepherd's crook, which is symbolized by the bishop's crozier to keep the sheep in line, like an instrument that he uses to, I think.
And if the sheep were asleep, they'll get up when you hit the door.
Like that, a symbol of his authority.
Yeah.
Xavier,
could you just say something? How was when you seeing the bishop doing all those things there? How was it?
Yes, it was so wild because I came in the night before, and so the first thing I'm doing in Cameroon is seeing this dedication of the cathedral with so many bishops. It was so crazy. The chrism, the placing of the relics, the music, even just the length of the service. It was all so foreign but so beautiful and good.
You got the singing? How was it?
Yes. Very different than from in America, but I do enjoy it.
And people were dancing. Wait, did you dance?
I was not yet. I've loosened up.
Okay. So it's thanks to Father Thierry. He works with the chorister. So Father, how was it? What was the gymnastic you played behind this whole thing that we had a good kind of a liturgy on that day?
With every large church building, we need also mini choristers, such that the acoustics in the church work well. Our cathedral doesn't have very good acoustics, so we did our best to ensure that we had the numbers represented by choristers, such that the sound of music could echo throughout the church building as much as it could. Now, the sound system wasn't very good, but I think that with time they're going to adjust that. I think the choir did its best, and the songs we all recognized. Some of us even joined them in the singing, and I think that in general it was good, except for the sound system.
So the 75th anniversary is coming. Someone was saying, Father, this was a kind of maybe a trial. Maybe the mistakes that we made during. That's why I thank Xavier for this whole stuff, so that we could, give the appraiser and give our impression. Also work on the things that were good, the ones that were not too good, so that in the future we're going to correct those things, which is very important. Very important. Like Cherry was just narrating that the sound system, they had to touch one or two things. So come 75th anniversary, May, we're telling the Christians and our friends of DMRO TV, very special friends of Mountain Echoes, the Co-Cathedral will be celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Co-Cathedral the month of May. We'll be coming to that. Yeah.
And that it is ready to receive all Christians in the Diocese of Boya.
Yeah. So, like you said, the sound system. What do you think you can do in order maybe to avoid some of those inches that we had in the course of this 48th annual seminar of the bishops?
Well, I'm not a technician. It's a technical issue. Yeah. It's about getting sound reach in all corners of the church evenly. And
that could be done pretty maybe good days or many days before that. They could test it, and then so you need to bring the choristers all on board. They try it, and then we get it, and then they do the corrections over and over before the D-Day of maybe the 75th anniversary.
It is really a job of the technicians.
Yeah.
If the sound waves have to reach all corners of the church evenly,
the
choristers, all they have to do is to practice the music. Their voices are the essential constant.
Because they need the microphones, they need all those things. They need to,
But the way the microphone relays the sound waves is not very much well done. So the technician will need to sit back again and try to just work it up a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay, we'll be coming back to you for the theory. And Mr. Bo, that was the dedication. How was it? Kind of your impression here, praise about the whole, coupled the fact that was just your first time. I'm sure those who had the opportunity to be there in 46 years ago, we thought that was back there 46 years ago was 1979. Yeah. By then, Xavier was not born. You were not born. All of us. So, how do you put those things together? Well, how was it?
It is an event which is very remarkable. I want to begin by giving a remark on the sound system which Father Thierry brought. I had an experience to have a retreat at the Cistercian monastery in Kutaba, where the microphone is buried on the ground, and everywhere inside the chapel, the sound system is unique. I think that if we cannot be able to use this our local system, we go borrow from that, we will not have problem. Because a cathedral of that magnitude needs something efficient. We need something greater than that. We don't have to constantly go. They have their microphone buried, which echoes in all angles. Getting to stage for the readers, the choristers, you don't bother. We don't need all this. In the Cistercian monastery in Kutaba, I had the experience, and I can quote, get there and get what they took to be able to come out with that. We definitely need that in Co-Cathedral. It is going to give us something very, very effective. Then one thing that dragged my attention again was the collaborations of something I was saying, hey, are they not going to kill my bishop? Going around to bless the whole church and all round. Then I realized that different bishops collaborated in their blessings. Then I took a deep breath. I said, my mind is going to it is not going to be too a heavy burden on him. It was a unique, as I said, the Catholic Church is one. It is universal, holy, Catholic, and one. The bishops, other bishops collaborated in the blessings, all round, and which brought some color, and it was fast. That was one item that dragged my attention. I got Father Bila in the guitar, and some of those.
The Capuchin priest also was there.
Yes.
So almost all the priests were on board.
Yes, they were on board,
performing your talent. Father is there with the music, because I saw him singing, though he was not sitting with the chorus.
Beautiful. So the priest those who celebrated and those who did not, in their various aspects, participated wholly to make sure that everything moved. You know, because the liturgy is not just, it is a combination of several, it's a combination of different parts. Different parts. I recognize that in all other aspects. The choristers that were there in their numbers, actually, that was a brilliant, it was a good thought. I want to give you an applause, Father Thierry, for thinking about that. Sometimes in a large co-cathedral of that magnitude, which does not take 3,000, and about 5,000 capacity and more, if we take choristers who are not of a particular number, the impact would definitely not give the adequate results. So the reflection which you had and those in the committee was beautiful. It's applaudable. I really appreciate that because it echoed and was able to jump in order. I thought of the seraphims and the cherubims, you know, because they sing all round.
So for that, Terry, I was expecting you to do more as we prepare for the 75th anniversary. You know, still expecting the bishops, both Catholics and non-Catholics, like Xavier said, he saw the Muslims were there, they won't come in with a goat, you know, in church, or the sheep that he saw. You know, so it was showing that we are together, you know, bringing that aspect of that, the cry of Jesus. Remember the week of Christian unity, it was from the 18th to the 25th. You know, may all be one as I'm one with my Father. We'll be coming to that. JC, we equally had during this period of the 48th annual seminar of the bishops of Cameroon, we had the I'm sure this is the blessing and dedication of the Catholic CMA Secretariat. JC, can we have that? And then it was in the course of this whole stuff. Could we have that, JC?
Following the guidance of the supervisory body of the Catholic Men Association CMA, and after years of hard work, contributions, commitment and prayers, the CMA National Secretariat building in Boya have been blessed by the Apostolic Nuncio to Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, José Avelino Benteco, in the presence of the bishops of Cameroon. The imposing structure, which originally was to serve as a national secretariat and also raise money for the running of the association, had some adjustments following an insight of the bishops, as explained by the national president, Mr. Johnson Okia, who describes the building for us.
Our conception was to have this building for us to raise funds, to raise revenue for us to manage our activities, and it was principally the conference hall. But from advice from the bishops, we are a spiritual group. We couldn't do it without having a chapel. So it was a recommendation from the bishops, and also as a spiritual group, more of our social activities or social values should be portrayed. And we thought that we cannot be a spiritual group and we don't carry on certain social activity. That's why we brought in to be able to get outreach to children who are suffering, rehabilitate children, bring them back. That's our own moral exercise we're going through, responsibility as a church group. That's how the social group came. Now the rooms too are also meant for fundraising because you come, instead of going to the hotel, you rent a room here and you pay. That's revenue. It's part of our revenue collection to be able to help us manage our activities.
The building, upon completion, will cost approximately more than 900 million francs CFA, and so far they have reached a 75% rate of completion. The president said though it's not been easy, the money was raised by the CMA members and some benefactors.
A certain amount of money to pay according to its capacity, and that itself we are having about 300 million to contribute. We have appeal letters we sent to so many people, to ministers, members of government, secretary generals, director general of companies, institutions, and where we are responding, and we also contracted a loan.
With the hall and the chapel of the Secretariat ready for use, about 25% is still left towards the completion of the building, as the building engineer, Brother Gerard, explains.
At present, what they call the closure, all major works have already been done and roofed. We have actually completed the ground floor, which is the hall, and The basement, we have just plastered it. We still have work to do there. And on the last floor, we have done only the chapel. So that 75%, which the president called, takes care of all what I have just mentioned. The 25%, which is still left, embodies the finishing of the first floor, which are offices and some sections for restoration. And then there is also a CMA, there is also a small conference room at that section that will be finished. The second floor equally, where there are just rooms, has not yet been done. And then we'll have to fit windows to the whole building, and I think that is it, that we'll need to complete it.
The bishops of Cameroon being the first occupants of the building, the members say they are blessed and call on all to make proper use of this beautiful national secretariat for their meetings, celebrations, retreats, and more.
Yeah, thank you very much, JC. That was the blessing of the Catholic Men Association Secretariat, National Secretariat, which takes all everybody, all the CMA in Cameroon. I presume that is the purpose. So, Sherry, just watching that, what do you think about it?
I am actually impressed. I actually thought the CWA really have accomplished much more than the CMA. But looking at that building, I think it's, truly speaking, yes.
That you thought maybe they were like, the apostles running to the grave, and then there was one of the apostles who was faster than the others. He got there, it was like the CW overtook them somehow. But then, though they did not go inside this time around, the CMA went inside, and
and they believed.
And then the others came and joined them. I think so.
I think that this building is a huge milestone to the work of the CMA, given the amount of money they have spent there and the usefulness of the structure. I was just commenting that we don't lack halls any longer.
No way. There's sufficient halls, all capacity,
and very good halls too.
Yeah.
So CMA, kudos, is really something big. I never knew the organization really has leave this level of sophistication to warrant a building like this to get their work and their activities done. I think it's just wonderful.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Mr. Bo, seeing this whole thing, the blessing of the CMA National Secretariat building, what do you think about that?
I just think about the Apostolic Nuncio, Jose Adelino Ben Seco, being the one to dedicate their building, to bless their building. It is really drawing their attention to show how far they have gone and the commitment. It's just really good. The CMA Secretariat, it is a giant project of over 900 million. That is short of some few millions.
Yeah, they said they are about 75% gone already with the work. So they got,
which means they have to clock in
remaining,
a billion and almost, which is almost half the amount they have spent to build the co-cathedral. And that is really great. As for commitment, dedications, I want to say kudos to the CMA members.
So the Joseph Men of Honor or Man of Honor, they are not joking. Xavier, what do you think about that? I'm sure you have bigger halls over there in the United States. What do you think about this one of the CMA, the National Secretariat?
Yeah, so just a general thought on the CMA. So when I came here and I saw the CWA, the CMA, I was like, what is this? Because I had no idea. There was all these people wearing the same clothes. And I was like, oh, it's some sort of like association. And I think there's something really beautiful to the uniform itself has Saint Joseph on it.
Saint Joseph, yeah.
And in the West, it's common to give Saint Joseph prima dolia, the first honor. So out of all the angels and saints, second to Mary, he is given the highest amount of honor. And so I think having an organization that has just Saint Joseph all over them is really interesting.
Yeah, the whole, what do you think about it? Having something that will kind of maybe sustain them in the future, maybe kind of self-reliance, where they could get some kind of revenue to support their situation ongoing. What do you think about that?
So I wasn't at the hall itself.
Yeah, like what you just saw, they said they're going to they could give it out. Father Thierry said that they will not lack halls. Again, maybe those come in for occasions, some kind of ceremonies. You could give them maybe a token and then have your hall and do your celebration and then you go out. Getting some kind of a little money for like to maintain the place, to keep the place clean and the rest. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so there's the precept of the church to provide for the material needs.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something related to it, just giving of ourselves to help with like a Catholic Men's Association, something like that.
Father, I have a comment.
Yeah.
Without any exaggeration and publicity, anybody who gets to the Bishop Awa Memorial Center and the CMA Hall right now in Boya and in the southwest region, we still need to have any hall that will stand to meet those present modern, extra modern standards. The structure, the furniture, the location and all that, security. I think that we don't lack halls anymore. Not any type of hall. It's not mediocre. Upstandard and modern halls, which will give the taste, where anybody who celebrates there will come back like one of the leopards.
Come and say thank you to Jesus.
Thank
you very much, Mr. Bo. Time is not really a friend. Jesse, we got the final communique in the course of the 48th annual seminar of the Bishops of Cameroon. Could we just have a look on that, and then before we get to the closing ceremony, Jesse?
The week-long 48th annual seminar of the Bishops of Boya came to a close on the 11th of January 2025 at the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral with a message of hope and a final communique which was read to all Christ faithful during a pontifical high mass celebrated by Archbishop Jose Avelino, Apostolic Nuncio to Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea. The theme for this seminar was Living Synodality in the context of our local church, wherein the synodal fathers being Archbishop Andrew Nkea of Bamenda, Bishop Philippe Alain Balga of Ebolova, and Bishop Emmanuel Dasi of Bafia shared their experiences at the second session of the Synod in Rome that held in October 2024. The Synodal Fathers also presented the final document of the Synod given by Pope Francis to the Universal Church. Following their deliberations on the final document on synodality, the bishops have decided to work towards the global reception of the final document on the synod by particular churches. They are also committed to engage in the effective formation of experts, pastoral workers, and other faithful in the synodal way in accordance with the final document of the synod. The bishops will also organize a national ecclesial assembly to evaluate strategies in the spirit of synodality. In order to fully engage the Christians of the Church in Cameroon to pray for peace, justice and reconciliation during this Jubilee Year of Hope, the bishops have invited Christ faithful to a national pilgrimage organized for the 26th and 27th of April to take place at the National Marian Shrine of Marienberg in the Diocese of Edea. To this end, a special collection for the renovation of the pilgrimage center will be done in all local churches on the first Sunday of Lent. The bishops in their final communique also expressed gratitude to the entire people of God and people of goodwill for their generosity towards the people of the Diocese of Yagua following the destructive and deadly floods of July and September 2024. The bishops of Cameroon, conscious of their pastoral responsibility in the church and mankind as a whole, decided to address a message of hope to the people of God, political actors, and the people of goodwill on the socio-economic situation of Cameroon. As the bishops depart to their respective dioceses, they express deep gratitude to the Bishop of Boya, His Lordship Michael Bibi, and his priests, religious and Christ faithful of the diocese for their warm welcome and attention. The conference looks forward to their next annual seminar come January 2026 to be hosted by the Diocese of Kumba.
Thank you very much. We just maybe take a kind of a marathon there, Jerry, looking at the final communique, or you just listen to that. Or what did you get from there, which it's very important also that you think worth listening over and over about it again. Kind of a summary about the communique.
Well, I don't want to further summarize it, but what struck me about the points, I think it's the Marian, the retreat.
Yeah, that they have to go there. Yeah.
At the Marian Shrine at Edea. Edea is evocative of, or is reminiscent of the very first church, where the Palatines, where the Palatines started built the first church, and they dedicated the territory of mission territory of Cameroon to the maternal intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So I think it's a good decision to have to go back there in order to be able to have this spiritual activity from whence it can provide a starting point to do the other practical work. I think it's a good thing.
Okay, Mr. Bo, listening to the communique, what do you have to say?
Father, I got before I want to say that I got the suggestion how the bishop was trying to say sometimes that he is requesting that the co-cathedral, be named a minor basilica. That attracted my attention, which I think that he actually deserves. Now in the communique, I had the same reflection which Father Thierry, and which is dedication to the pilgrimage of the first church in the country, where they have to go back there to see how the faith began to the extent in which it is now, sowing a seed that has such a great harvest. Then there again I got the message of hope. One philosopher said to lose hope is the end. Now if the bishop sit down to be able to give hope to especially the Anglophone Cameroonians, or those where they have faced a lot of challenges all these years since 2016, where many people are faced with depression, they are faced with grief, and some are mourning, and it's like they may turn back to God and say, have you forgotten us? The psalmist say, if I should forget you, Jerusalem, let my right hand wither. Now when the bishop go to re-echo, there's one time I quote my mentor and my father, Father Peter Zenkeng. Sometimes they used to say, why do you talk about politics in the church? What is the difference? He asks, what's the difference between politics and religion? Politics deals with human being, and religion also deals with human being. The ills of politics that affect the humanity is the necessity for religion to correct. So they must correlate. So if the bishops go to reiterate the aspect of hope to Cameroonians who are in despair, I think that the church is the main and the greatest means of consolation. Rest assured that we are very sure that people feel more comfortable and more relaxed when they get the message of, when they got the message of the bishop, than it could come from any other venue. Their reflection was so prompt and it's so consoling. I thank the bishops for that.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Xavier, what do you have to say about, you got the communique? Just briefly, what do you the final words of the bishops, encouraging people, hope, and the rest. What do you think about that, coupled with the crisis that has been plaguing some of the regions in Cameroon since 2016? And Buea Diocese happens to be in one of the regions.
Yeah, I think the message of hope is really important. I think we live in a hopeless world. We live in like almost a godless world, in which we need hope, we need God back in it. And so having the Diamond Jubilee, having this year of hope, I think the message from the bishops of hope is very appropriate.
Yeah. Okay, our time is not really our friend. We want to thank you. Maybe you have a word to maybe the bishop. You have a word to the bishop. He's a proprietor of the TV. You have a word to him before we close the curtains of today's edition.
Yes, I just want to deeply thank the bishop. I've just been under the care of the bishop, and I'm at the bishop's house, and so it's just been really nice to be taken care of. So.
Okay, that's interesting. Yes, Mr. Bo, maybe last words to the viewers.
Divine Mercy televiewers, we are lucky to have a TV station like this, and it is very, very necessary for us to keep on watching to enrich our faith, because there are various aspects which may not be addressed in the altar, they may not be addressed in the classroom, but they may be addressed in this forum. The main purpose of Divine Mercy television and radio is for evangelization. So keep watching. It is a light of hope.
Thank you very much. And Thierry, maybe you got some seconds to do that.
Well, just to say that we should keep doing what we have to do at our various places of responsibility to ensure that the gospel continues to spread. And listening to the message of the bishops, I think it's a reminder to us that we are the lights of the world and the salt of the earth. We carry this message of the gospel, which gives hope to us and to all those who listen to the message of the gospel and become Christians too, and carry with them also the light of hope. So wherever we are, we should not stop doing what we are doing, because it is part of a great effort to bring hope to everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much, Father Thierry, for being with us. Thank you very much, Mr. Bull, and Xavier, thank you for coming. And I want to say a big thank you to JC and his team over there, and to the we have a Director of Communication, Father Solomon Ekundi, and the Manager, Madam Joyce Bong. Thank you all for your work, and to number one promoter and supporter of this TV, Bishop Michael Bibi. May God continue to bless you. See you tomorrow. It's another day. Our fans of Mountain Echoes, stay, have a blessed night. Thank you.